1 and 2.
It's just the whole show is
Dart. Let's just
just not say anything for the entire episode. Just act like our screens froze. Don't even move. That'd be impressive. They'd keep that up for a whole hour.
Yeah, I'd have to itch, like my ear would itch or something.
Couldn't do it though. You just had to like.
I'd do this, and then I'd like move, and I'd be in a different position, and then I'd just do it again.
They would ask how high we were today.
Not enough, probably.
Not enough.
Is usually the answer.
That's usually the answer, ain't it? Anyways, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a very tiresome This Uncanny Earth. As you can tell, we don't have the same energies we usually bring with every other 207,000th episode we've brought before us. But we've all been super like a mess. It's just been a mess. It's been a mess is really what it's been. It's been a mess since the last show. I think what was the last show we did? What was that?
The wrap-up show for the end of 2022.
Oh yeah, did we wrap anything up?
I don't know. We probably just caused people to have more questions.
Was that the Gene Broider show, or was that the show the week before?
No, that was 2 weeks before because we had 2 end of the year shows in a row. We had the Christmas, and then we had the New Year's Eve, basically.
Oh man, we had quite the show. So what have you been up to since 2022? What have you been up to since?
Just in the last week or so.
Haven't seen you in a year.
If you want to try another one of those, I can play you a video.
I haven't seen you in a year.
Here. It's time for Dad Jokes.
Grill is that, and why does it look seedy?
It's one of those like park grills that you find in like the parks.
But was that like, did you get that offline, or was that a picture we took?
That was a royalty-free double-checked.
The royalty-free double-back blind study.
Yeah, I made sure because I went to a place where I specifically get things royalty-free for like album covers and things. All you got to do is mess with some aspect of it, which I did. So.
I mean, didn't we have a picture of a grill at some point that you could have used?
I did. Like, I had a whole video made that was better than that with like sparkles and twinkles and everything. Like, it was all glowing, and then it just disappeared. Like, it's not on my computer. It's not on my phone. It's nowhere.
Guess the government didn't want us having those sweet grill vids that they were so enamored with. Busy worried about the Russians shooting down UFOs. So. Yeah. Anyways,
there's some thoughts about that. But we'll skip that.
what's going on in your neck of the woods? How has your week been since episode 217 or whatever we're on now?
Well, I'll tell you, we're probably lucky that I'm even here to have a show. I had some kind of electrical problem that caused one of my surge protectors in my house to fail spectacularly by drawing a ton of other power from everywhere else in the house, which caused all my lights to blink and go on the fritz. Then it caused the failing of 2 other surge protectors in 2 other outlets of the house. In total, in about, I don't know, I'd say about 20 minutes to a half hour, I lost 5 light bulbs throughout the house. I lost 3 surge protectors. I lost the subwoofer to my surround sound system. I lost something's wrong with my furnace. My furnace won't start, so there's something going on with that. And something else. I don't remember. I lost something else in there, and that was pretty spectacular. Spectacular in a terrible way. So I've just been picking up the pieces with that because now I finally have power to my computer.
Yeah, that sucks. That sucks. So on my end, I had a nice health issue over a week ago. Today, actually, it would start taking effect, which means I probably picked it up like 3 days prior to that. So it ended up getting to be about midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning here, and I ended up getting fever chills. Could not get warm. I had on long john pants, long john shirt, sleep pants, shirt over the long john shirt, sweatshirt over the long john shirt. Couldn't get warm. Chattering like a mug. Just
That sounds like what I had.
chatter,
That's
chatter,
how mine
chatter.
started. Mine
So
started like with the chills.
woke up, woke up on Saturday, 104-degree fever. Not 100.4, 104. So 104. So spent most of the day trying to figure out my life. Couldn't sleep, couldn't breathe really very well, couldn't really swallow. Lymph nodes was swollen. That went all the way into Monday, where the fever finally kind of broke, but was still there because there was infection. Tuesday, went to the doctor. Turns out I had strep throat. Yes, your boy, your old arch nemesis, my old villain, came back with a vengeance. Turns out caught it Friday night, or got it Friday night. Waited 5 days to get some antibiotics since it was New Year's weekend,
Mm,
and no medical place was open, and I wasn't going to go to the emergency room.
right.
Um,
You'd be paying
so I
some bucks for that.
suffered Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, and Monday night. Couldn't sleep. Could not sleep. Body was trying to fight infection. Tried to sleep. I slept at most like maybe 6 hours between 3 days. So Tuesday, after I got my antibiotics, got a hot round of penicillin, which is fantastic. So about 7 o'clock, I was literally at the kitchen table with my son. He was showing me his sweet sky removes. And I just put my head down on the table and literally passed out. I could not stay awake. I was so tired. I was snoring. And then I went to bed and actually could fall asleep. Like I actually could get the wherewithal to sleep. I couldn't do it the other days. I couldn't, my body wouldn't let me sleep. Like I would get tired and then rest my eyes for maybe an hour, half hour, 45 minutes, and then be up again. And that just kept ebbing and flowing. And then finally, that Tuesday, got that sweet antibiotic relief, and my body was like, okay, we could take a much needed break. So here's a whole bunch of sleep that you were looking for.
Mm.
Yeah, it was bad. I couldn't breathe out of my nose, but then I could breathe out of my nose. The congestion was weird, didn't make any sense.
Sounds a lot like what I had, but I didn't have strep because my throat. I didn't have any breathing problems. I got a cough. I got a cough that was really annoying. Not as bad as the old 19 cough. That was a terrible cough, but it was pretty nasty. And then I had congestion for I don't know, like 2 weeks after that. But yeah, it's pretty close. It starts off with that nasty fever and those chills. Man, those chills were nothing to sneeze
The
at.
worst, man. They were
Whew.
awful. I couldn't. I was like, it was my teeth chattering. And then I had like
Robes on and blankets on and sweaters and
two
hats. And
blankets,
like,
two blankets, this hat, sweatshirt, and then like, oh man, and then like Sunday, the fever broke Sunday, like Sunday night into Monday morning. And man, let me tell you, there's nothing worse than the smell of sick sweat. It's the
mm,
worst. It's the
mm,
absolute worst. So
all over your
Tuesday,
clothes and everything.
all over. I was soaked.
Yeah,
I was literally drenched. Then
because
I
it's
remember,
toxins. It's toxins coming out.
yeah. And then I remember Tuesday, I pretty much spent all Tuesday washing blankets, penicillin style. And then just that's all I did was Tuesday, just wash blankets, sheets and blankets. And I had like two of them plus the sheet. And those things take all day. You
Mm-hmm.
got at least an hour for a wash and about an hour and a half for a dry. So you're looking at about 2 hours for the wash, about 3 hours for the dry. So all in all, you're looking at like good 5 hours. So I mean, you can put the sheet in with the wash, which is nice. Still, like I don't get sick like that. I haven't been sick like that in a very, Even the last time I got strep, it wasn't nearly as bad as this time. This time was bad, bad. Like the fever was just terrible. I'm like 104. Like that's your brain starts boiling at like 108.
Yeah,
And
it's
I'm
not too
like,
far off.
let's not go up any higher. Won't be able to do the show. So I'm still trying to recover from that. Like I'm literally still in weird lethargic mode
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't sleep for like 4 or 5 days. It was awful. Just did what I did. So there it is. But
And
that's
that's
what's
kind
going
of
on.
the strep throat thing has been around a lot. Like the end of last year and the beginning of this year, it's the big thing that people are getting, like more than anything else. I guess. I guess it's like a more severe outbreak of something than other years. So it's not like the flu's getting everybody this year. It's not like the colds. It's just like strep throat is going around, especially among the kids. The kids are getting it. Kids are getting it from schools and they're taking it home, or they're getting something light that has the same infection in it and bringing it home, and then it turns into full blown whatever it is.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is I'm very susceptible to it from having it at a young age. So whoever had it immediately gave it to me. Like I immediately got it.
Mm.
Friday night, I'm like, no, I thought it was the flu at first. I'm like, my throat's a little sore because usually in the past when I had strep throat, it hurt bad. Like I would hate swallowing. This time I was like, it's not that bad. But the fevers and the chills,
Mm.
man. That first night's chill, I just remember sitting here and I kept getting colder. This was right after the show. I kept getting colder and colder. Like, why am I getting colder? Then I tried to put more layers on and just kept getting colder. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
it's a wrap for that. We're gonna have to go ahead and call it for that. And I went upstairs, and the worst thing is you're not as sick when you're awake, but as soon as you fall asleep, the next time you wake up, you're sicker than a dog.
Mm-hmm. Because it's had time to settle.
Fester.
Yep.
So there you go. That's what's been going on in your uncanny world. Welcome back. Hey, everybody. Have you tried the latest uncanny products? We have uncanny supplements. Uncanny supplements for guys who can't get it
It's your
to work.
silver. The what is it
Oh,
called?
colloidal silver.
Your colloidal
Colloidal
silver.
silver. Get your colloidal silver. Get
Nobody
your
else is going to
colloidal
sell it
silver.
right now because he's not really selling much of anything at the moment. But
I don't even. How is that dude doing? Does anybody know? Has anybody checked on Ralex Jones?
he's trying to declare his bankruptcy so that he doesn't have to pay people like $8 billion or whatever it is. I don't know. He owes some ridiculous sum, and sometimes these settlements nobody can conceivably pay some of this stuff, but whatever. He's trying to get out of it, so that's his thing.
Does he still do the show?
I don't know. I guess he still does interviews, but I don't know like what he interviews on. I thought he wasn't allowed to be on his regular show for a while for some reason, but I don't know. It got really weird for a while when everything was on trial and whatnot, and I don't know.
We should get him on the show. Give him like $5 and some Dairy Queen coupon.
And some colloidal silver.
We need to pick up that market. That's a market that we are not tapped into at the moment. We need to tap into that market. That's a
tap it in. Just
tap it in. It's a market that is untapped at present, along with all the other like. Oh, and My Patriot Pack. We need to tap into that market too. We need to get like the
food buckets.
Food bucket.
Food buckets.
Food bucket.
Get your food. This food bucket will last you 6 months, and on the shelf. Just add water. Where are you going to get the water at the end of the world? You say, well, I've got water buckets
filled with water, H2O.
You just have to add water to the water to rehydrate it.
They're just packets of silica gel supplied by MDH Industries.
He does collect a lot of those.
Your camera is unfocused.
Yeah, I know. I keep like
figure it out. It's like there. Every time the show goes on, you're always doing something unprofessional.
That's what we should get into. Camera focusing equipment. I mean just a switch or a dial on it would be nice. Be like, hey, dial it in. But no, it's like
I want a mic arm. I think I'm going to get that next.
They're handy.
So, but yeah, I tell you the one thing though about this being sick this time is like, man, this really messed up my throat a little bit. Like when I drink really cold stuff, you can
Mm.
tell that it's like it was infected. Like it
Mhm.
just has that weird, like not hurt per se, but like just I don't know. Can't explain. If you don't have strep throat, you won't know what I'm talking about. But
Yeah. Well, being a person who used to be able to sing better than I do now, I know the difference between like trying to even just talk normally and then getting sick with something and then like trying to go back to just trying to talk normally. And still sometimes it's kind of like I don't feel like talking at all because I don't want to adjust anything in my throat because it's kind of like no, there was something in there. It's still kind of gross. I don't want to do nothing.
he was like that. You were like that. We went to West Virginia that one time,
Yeah,
and then we drank War Master about it.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, that'll cure it. Gave us a bit of a hangover. That one did.
Ooh.
Oh no, that was the Cedar Ridge, and we drank the whole bottle too. That was the problem.
Oh, and that's really good stuff too. That's a
It was
single
great. It was
malt.
oh no, it was fantastic. That was a wild night.
Yeah,
That
I
was a
want to get
real
some more of
wild
that,
night.
but I'm
Yeah,
not going to give you any. You got to get your own. You got to get your own.
it was okay. Whiskey. There's nothing that we've had that it's really been like we should get another one of these. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head I've liked that has been like so amazing. I think maybe
Mm,
the Tinjaku was really good. I like the Tinjaku.
mhm.
Um, I mean Crowns, but Crowns were our standby for such a long time.
Yeah,
Proper 12 was good. I like
yeah.
Proper 12. That's probably one of the better ones you've gotten is the Proper 12. Um, definitely not the War Master. Oof,
Yeah, not that.
no. Whiskey War was the one I was talking about, not War Master. Whiskey War was the one
Oh
that we
yeah,
took down
yeah,
there.
yeah,
It was all right. It's 99 proof. Like, what do you
yeah.
expect?
It was just really strong. Like it was ridiculously strong.
So, Suntory wasn't bad. The Chavaz Regal wasn't too bad. The more expensive Chavaz Regal is
Mhm.
really good. Yeah, I don't know if you've had that one.
Not yet. We had a cheaper one. We had a cheaper one, and you didn't like it as much as the other one.
Oh, the other one was like $64 too. So the other one was really good. Um, so yeah. Anyways, topic of the show is magicians in Fairyville. So we'll be talking about David Copperfield fighting another literary poet. I don't know who. Charles Dickens. See, there's a joke there, but if you guys don't know who Charles Dickens is, or that he wrote a book called David Copperfield, or that David Copperfield is a magician, you're not going to get the joke because there's many layers to these jokes. There's many layers. There's
Connecting dots.
crossing
Connecting
T's
dots.
and dotting I's. So, but yeah, so Anunnaki in the entertainment world. Of
Yeah,
course, the entertainment world, Hollywood itself, is ran by the Anunnaki, and most actors and actresses are the Anunnaki, and they're brainwashing your children.
could be. They could all be lizard people.
Take them away to the diamond mines in Africa to mine for the diamond.
We have to see if they can eat pretzels. That'll tell us whether they're a lizard person or not.
Can lizard people not eat pretzels?
No, they probably can. That's why you know George Bush is not a lizard person because he choked on a pretzel. He couldn't
That's a good point.
unhinge his jaw to swallow the pretzel, so he choked on it. So he's actually a person. So if people think that George W. Bush is a lizard person, nah. Sorry.
Nah, because lizard people wouldn't choke on a pretzel, especially if it was
Right.
one of those little smaller pretzels.
Yeah, they'd unhinge the jaw and go
Now,
on down.
if it was one of those sourdough pretzels, I get that.
Yeah, but I don't see him like trying to wolf down
Have you ever ate one of those?
like that. No, I don't think so.
Have
But
you ever ate a sourdough
yeah,
pretzel? It's
yeah,
awful. You're gonna crack some teeth.
yeah. That's why you got to get something to dip them in.
Yeah, like the trash. You just leave them in the trash. Hard pass. So, anyways, to get on topic with tonight's magic in the Blarney State. Oh, speaking of the Blarney State, here's a funny thing that I have learned. So recently, I have begun researching my ancestors, And here's something hilarious that is probably true, and we probably both have been friends for longer than we've both been alive. Is I found out today that I am also Scotch of Scottish descent. So yeah, not bad. So we've probably been team jobs and out in Scotland for a hot minute.
Probably. I mean, the
Yeah,
Scottish people are the kind of people that are kind of like us. They drink, they
true.
do pretty much what they want. They get a little violent sometimes,
Sometimes.
and probably when they drink is the same time.
It's crazy though because I found out I was English, German, North Irish, Danish, and Swiss and French.
That means mostly that you had ancestors that were pretty wide ranging. Like you didn't have any like a way to tell how not I don't want to say not racist, but how not like particular your ancestors are to see just how many different kinds of people are mixed up in there. And if you went like all over Europe, it means your ancestors like, oh yeah, we marry into whatever. Like we don't care. We're friendly. We're open. We're
Right.
we're fair. If you've got a really particular only like certain strand and set, you can be like, my ancestors weren't really they weren't very
They
inviting.
work with none of that race mixing. I'll tell you that.
They weren't down with that. So
No, it
it's
was
kind of
cool.
better to see the conglomeration.
It's cool because my family's actually been in this country since shoot. I found that I have people that fought in the Revolutionary War, probably on both sides.
Mhm.
English, British, German, the Germanic descent is my biggest biggest genealogical background. Like everybody's from like on my dad's side, everybody's from like the same place in Germany. They're like, yeah, wusste dort du for dort in Germany, and I'm like, get a couple people from France here, get a couple people from Switzerland here, get a couple people from Denmark over here. So I'm definitely Viking of some form or fashion, or Germanic of some form or fashion. Definitely like some thing of form and tonight's episode's form and fashion. Can we talk about good battle form and fashion?
Form and function.
Now let's just get it clear though. I'm not going to wear a kilt anytime soon. So
yeah, I mean, I probably have a bit more Scottish, I think, but I don't know. I couldn't pull it off. Like
no,
I've thought about it over the years. I've thought, but I'm kind of like I don't know. I'm too set on
being
my trousers.
Well, you're an American. You're not really a
yeah, and that's it too. Like I know it's okay. I know many people who have Scottish descent who live here who aren't from Scotland in any way, but they're like, oh yeah, I want to celebrate my Scottish roots, so I got these kilts and they wear them just to concerts and stuff. But I don't.
Kilt fest.
I don't know. I don't think I'd pull it off. I thought about it for a little while and then I know what my pattern is, but I won't. I probably won't do it.
I would roast you for the rest of your life. I would never let you live it down. I'd be like, at least I didn't wear a dress.
And the pattern's important too, because it's what like clan you are. And I'm not one of the red or the green or any of that kind of stuff. I have this yellow, it's like mustardy yellow with like stripes of like dark green in it. Yeah, it's not kilt flattering, I don't think either. Like
it's very offensive.
I don't know. My legs are too pale to match.
Listen, that's the whole reason I'd make fun of you. I'd be like, now's the one time you show off them old pale legs of yours.
Nah, I don't even wear shorts, so I wouldn't.
He does not.
I don't like having unclothed legs of my own.
Sounds like one of those Anabaptists. Ain't nobody in my house.
Don't show your ankles around the house.
Don't show your uncovered legs.
Don't show them ankles around the house. You cover them up.
Listen, this is coming from a guy that wears pants to bed, and he also will wear pants in Hawaii, where that should be a felony of the first degree.
Yeah. Black jeans and long black t-shirts and stuff, yeah.
Just gone in the mind, I think. Meanwhile, I'm like, I ain't packing no pants. I'm wearing shorts every single day for I still wear shorts. Anyways, getting on to the topic at hand, the Annunaki Entertainment Company. Today, George Bush Jr. was not an Anunnaki because he chose on a pretzel. Anyways,
well, we
go ahead. I'm gonna let you go ahead.
Yeah, I figured I'd give you a little bit of most of a break tonight. because this is probably the most you've talked since you started feeling a little bit better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll ease into it a little bit, right? Ease into it.
Just ease
Take
it
it
in.
easy. Be careful. Your health's important. Stop. Um,
Yikes.
well, anyway, we came up to this topic because I finished playing a game recently, and he had already finished it, and he told me I got to
Indeed.
play it, which I think I ended up. I think I got it first, but I just let it sit in my list of unplayed games forever because I thought it was going to be a little more intense than it was, which doesn't mean it was bad. It was intense in a pretty good way, but not the way that I thought it was going to be. But I just finished playing House of Ashes, which is part of a series of games called the Dark Pictures Anthology, and each one's different. um, and they all have different paranormal things going on with them. This one is in Iraq during our first occupation, right after Saddam gets bumped out of the picture. And so a lot of the characters are kind of like America kind of stuff, you know. So you have to deal with the characters being a little bit kind of like WMDs and stuff, and that's really why you're there. You're looking for WMDs and stuff, but you end up messing with some creatures that are in these ancient ruins. They're ancient Akkadian ruins, which savvy people will know that Akkad took over Sumer, so they're further Sumerian ruins, that kind of stuff, and they deal with Anunnaki. And as the game goes on, I'm going to do some spoilers for you, not major ones, just a couple things. So if you haven't played it yet, here's your spoiler alert. Okay, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. When you get deep enough into the caverns to fight the things, there's technology down there. So you find out they're not from the planet. Oh my gosh. I didn't know they were going to go that way. I thought they were going to keep it like fully paranormal until it got to that last couple levels there.
I thought it was going to go full descent, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like it was just some creature that had lived down there forever and it was just going to pick people off one by one. No, I didn't see the whole technology part. It wasn't unwelcome, but it was just like,
yeah, it was kind of like out of left field for how they'd been running the game so far. Like I didn't expect it. It was neat.
But just to jump in for a quick second, that's the first of those games you've ever played, right?
Yeah.
You've never played any game like that, right?
Well, I've played because the game is choose your own adventure style, basically, where you go and you have to do like different quick time things and you have to make decisions that may affect people later. I have played one of the Borderlands games that did that, which was better than I thought it was going to be, but still not my preferred style. Like I don't really get into those kind of things, the Telltale, you know, I don't get into that as much, but this one was really super well done. Like I really appreciated how they did it.
So that one is probably one of the least favorite ones that I played because I played probably a couple more than you have. Like I've played Heavy Rain, which is one of the best. I've played The Quarry, which was amazing. Same people that made The Quarry made Heavy Rain.
And they're also connected to the same people that made this one.
Yes. This one was just it felt lazy writing in a roundabout way, and it felt like that because there was no hints that there was technology involved at all. And I wish they would have at least given you a little bit of a hint. But the cool part when you go underground and there's that big ship thing, that part was pretty cool.
Yeah, and at least it's not like super high tech like how we might think about extraterrestrials. It was more like the H.R. Geiger kind of thing, like the Alien films kind of style. Everything's kind of tubes and kind of biotechnology and stuff like that. So it's it was done well enough for what it was. I mean, the game kind of feels like as you go through it, like you go to the movies and you see those. It's not really a horror movie, but it's not really like an action movie. It's like one of those in between kind of things.
Almost like 28 Days Later was.
Yeah, where it's got the horror stuff and it's got the action stuff and it's a little bit of both, but it's like a summer movie kind of thing. Like you go to the movie theater, you watch it, and the characters sometimes felt a little off and things like that. And some of the stuff that I thought would have been playing two character ended up causing the characters to get killed throughout the story, Whereas where I thought where they wouldn't act like themselves, if they act contrary to themselves, actually help them live. And I was kind of like, I'm not feeling that. So like the best ending almost isn't to have everybody survive, in my opinion. But whichever. I mean, it's all personal preference. But it was well done, mostly. And the thing about it is that there is a lot of historical stuff in there that meshes with what we know of real life events, like the Akkadian king from the beginning of the game, and the whole
Sargon.
that was Namar Sin.
Was it?
Yeah, he was the grandson of Sargon.
Oh, yeah.
Grandson of
Yeah,
Sargon.
that's right. That's right.
And you can look this up, everybody. You can go to even Wikipedia, which is not, you can go there first and then follow up on the real
Don't take
sources.
my word for it. Go to Wikipedia. That's never in any way edited.
That's why you go there first, just to see the basics, and then you
Right.
follow up on the sources and see what the truth is about it. But it talks about how on some seals and whatnot that they found that there was supposedly a curse that the Gutians, which were tribal people, had come out of the mountains, causing famine because they were sacking places that produced food, and they were bringing plagues because they had clearly they would have different bacteria than the Akkadians had from living in different regions. So the basis of the game is kind of true events, from what we know anyway. We get all this from cylinder seals and artifacts that have been recovered, and that was pretty cool. I liked that they paralleled it with that, and then they threw in the whole, they're from space kind of thing, and they didn't explicitly say anywhere in there they were Anunnaki or the gods,
No, they didn't.
which was an interesting thing too. They the people in the past called it the revenge of the gods, but nobody actually said so that they themselves were the gods, the creatures were, which is another interesting point. It kind of lets you wonder, well, did they consider the creatures godlike in any fashion? Were they actually like a part of that? Were they demons from actual, sent by the gods, or did they just happen to be there? And were the gods something else? Did the gods not come from space? So it was an interesting little play, and it leaves you the opportunity to keep things kind of open in your mind.
I thought the game was good, but I thought the acting was atrocious.
Yeah, well, yeah. Like the one lady, the cheater lady. Oh, she was terrible.
Which one?
The CIA lady, the cheater that gets infected, and you have to try to save her by the end.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The dude that she was cheating on or cheating with, he was awful too. I was like, oh, I think he ended up living, or maybe I got him killed. Some characters in some of those games, like in the Quarry and Until Dawn, I worked my tail to kill, and they would end up living. And the characters I wanted to keep would end up dying. So that sucked. But the game itself wasn't horrible, wasn't bad. I got it for $10, so it's not something I would have paid full price for. But
yeah, I got it for a sale, I think, way back. I don't remember when exactly. Maybe Black Friday, maybe before.
and the
Probably
other
before.
ones are Man of Medan, Little Hope, and The Devil Made Me Do It.
Now, I don't know about the other ones, but Man of Medan is another one that's based on potentially true stuff.
Yeah, I saw that.
Because the boat that they go on is part of an actual story. It's from the Indian Ocean or something like that, where it washed up somewhere. They went aboard. People went aboard and they found stuff from the crew, like the captain and whatnot, but they didn't find any bodies. I think they found like a dog that was still alive that was just like hungry and cold or something, and that was it. They didn't find anybody else, and they found these logs that said weird stuff had happened and there was violence and whatnot, and they couldn't tow the ship back because there was like a storm or something, so they had to let it go. But they meant to come back to the area, and they never found it. Like, it drifted off and then it just disappeared completely. And there was supposedly somebody that showed up at some point, kind of like that guy at the airport that they detained, who said he was from a different fictional country and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
Even a time traveler. It's somebody who showed up and said, "Yeah, I'm from this other place. I came aboard this ship, whatever," and then he disappeared too. It was an interesting case. I think we've talked about it on one of our past episodes briefly, like way back, one of our early episodes. Maybe when we were talking about the same thing as the guy from the airport and things.
Maybe.
I don't remember for sure. I know we mentioned it, but I don't know how much we got into the whole thing about it. But that one's I'm looking forward to possibly trying because it's interesting, based off of potentially true paranormal thing.
Did you buy it?
No, not so far. I'm pretty broke.
Yeah, I almost did, but I ended up like not buying anything.
Yeah, I got no money for
They
games
had
right now.
Mortal Kombat Ultimate for like $8, and I was like, man, I should. I'm like, no.
Them $8 is a couple of lunches, a couple of dinners.
Or that $8 was a Christmas gift for somebody else. Like it, you know, honestly don't care. You know, it's not like the game won't go on sale again. Plus, it's Mortal Kombat. How much fun are you going to get out of it? And they had all those games for like $10. Man of Medan and Little Hope. But I'm like, once I beat it once, I'm not going to replay it really again for a long time. So, but yeah, that was. I forget the way they came out, and then that new one. The new one doesn't even look that interesting, to be honest with you.
It looks like a serial killer kind of thing.
It's like a Saw kind of a thing. Yeah. So I was like, what are you gonna do? Now I'll tell you a pretty good game that that has some interesting technological aspects. That is kind of alien, but not so much Anunnaki. Is I just forgot it. The game where you take over UFOs.
Is it new? Is it old?
No, it's old. It's 360 old. You had a jetpack?
Oh, Dark Void.
Yeah, that one with the alien technology from the future was legit. That was a pretty decent Anunnaki style because they were fighting aliens, but they were also finding ancient alien technology. I don't know if you ever played that.
Yeah, I had it. I've had it for the longest time. I think I actually loaned you a copy first.
No,
because I had it on disc.
That's when you didn't loan me, and then you ended up getting it for me.
Maybe because it was like really cheap at the time. Because
like
that one got interesting because you were following up on Amelia Earhart and some other things, and supposedly in that game she went down in an area because she went into the Bermuda Triangle, and the Bermuda Triangle was actually this alien
gateway
portal
or something.
Yeah, it was like a portal kind of thing, and it was in a place that was kind of like set apart from time, like it connected to time, but it was separate from it at the same time. And so they were able to like go from there out into the world and then out into space and wherever and collect resources or to abduct people. And they were raising these tribes people to work for them and do stuff. But they were just like, anytime they weren't happy with them, they were just like, oh, well, you're dead. Pop them off left and right. So.
Oh, that cat has something important to say about the Anunnaki.
Oh, yeah. He's pretty grouchy.
Could be grouchy cat.
But yeah, that one was pretty good too. And there's a lot of games out there, and there's movies too that fall back on where you think it's going to be something paranormal and it ends up being something alien related and possibly like Sumerian related.
Did you see the game that's coming out called Abducted?
No.
Oh, it looks good. It's on. There's no console release for it, but they're going to release it on Steam first. But it looks really good. You play as a person who is abducted, and you have to live that nightmare again and again and again. It's almost like that movie, The Fourth Kind, that actually had real Anunnaki, not those fake kind like you see on ET.
And that's another thing that I was going to talk about.
We always talk about this movie, I think.
Because it's another good example of how they said, oh, well, they based it off ancient Sumerian and things. And it was kind of like, okay, I don't know about that. It was kind of, that part of it seemed kind of shoehorned in, but it was still interesting. And they had the glyphs and stuff, and it was in the place in Elastica. It was
the place in Elastica.
In Alaska, where
it's a very stretchy environment.
Where more people are abducted every year than any other place in the United States.
The funny thing is they sprinkled a little bit. I thought the movie was like part of like an actual true events that had actually happened.
Because they said that at the beginning.
Come to find
And
out, I had
then,
to I had to Google it. I was still living at home with my parents when I saw this movie, and I remember watching it. And I watched it in the broad daylight, and I was still freaked out. The part where, body's just floating off the bed, and she looks like she's in the wheelchair thing at the end. I'm like, this is a true story, because if it is, I'm gonna go in the basement and hide. Come to find out, it was 100% fabricated, which angered me. Because even in the end, they were talking like, every year, nobody knows what's going on, man.
but that part of it is kind of like, I don't know if you'd say it was true necessarily, but at least people believe it to be true that in Alaska there is the most abduction reports of any place in the United States. And some people chalk it up to the fact that because you have so much daylight up there for most of the year, that people don't sleep right, so they have hallucinations, so they don't, people go a little bit more crazy and things, which is a valid theory. I mean, because as you know, very recently, people need sleep.
100%.
Got to get that sleep. Like me, if I can't sleep, if I'm sick like that, my brain goes into overtime, and if I try to sleep, I go into like, it's not like lucid dreaming, but it's like hallucinatory stuff goes on. Like I'll just be there and I won't be asleep, but I'll be imagining, oh, I'm in this situation, things are going on, whatever. And then I'll just open my eyes and be like, I wasn't sleeping, whatever. Go back into it. Hours
That's
and
the
hours.
worst feeling. That's the worst, because it's like you're just draining resources on your body.
I got pneumonia once when I used to live farther east, and I was at the first Sears store I worked at, and I'd come home early, and I ended up like trying to sleep for like 3 days straight. I was so sick, and every time I would close my eyes and like start to feel like I was going to sleep, I'd be back at work, behind the register, super busy. Everybody wants something. Everybody's mad. I'm kind of like, I'm trying to work, and it's normal. It's not like anything weird. Like it's not monsters or anything. It's just normal, regular working, really like super busy, aggravating shift thing. I'd open my eyes, wide awake, not sleeping. But every time I tried to go to sleep, back there, like a waking nightmare. Sears. Waking Sears nightmare.
That's awful.
But yeah, 3 days of that, and then I finally started feeling better. That was the worst I've ever been sick in my life. I still remember it because I couldn't hardly eat or drink or move or do anything. I just
No, you can't.
there in bed for 3 days.
When I was sick this last time, even going to the bathroom, like my whole body was in physical pain. Like things were aching. I'm like, no, you're not supposed to ache. You're never supposed to ache. Like I can barely walk, and your head's swimming because it's in fever state. You're trying to get rid of everything else. You're in pain. I'm just like, so yeah. I mean, that would make sense too. Like if you don't, but your body would recognize the need for sleep. It'd just be like you were working third shift. You get some blackout curtains.
Yeah, it'd be, and I know that they do a lot of that over in Alaska, and they do a lot of ways to try to fight back against the amount of light that comes in and try to regulate their sleep patterns. But it's still supposed to be like really high in things like suicides and things like psychotic events and breaks and stuff, and of course, like I said, in abductions.
Because it's cold. What else you finna do? Just be freezing? Like they have a for the times where it's night and it's always night. They have these light tracks where it simulates artificial sunlight. You just walk around the track, be like, it's daytime. Like I'd rather do the night part, because at least the night part, you're like, okay, I can, because I'll just go back to sleep, to be honest with you. You might sleep too much and then you get fat. So.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably do as long as you had lights on, and you could see where you're going, and you could do things. I could see like an eternal night kind of thing. Like I wouldn't be too bad about that. Eternal daytime though, it would drive me crazy.
Right? Yeah, because it's always day. Your brain would be like, why is it still light outside? It's not supposed to be light outside. It's supposed to be daytime. It's supposed to go to sleep. It's snooze time. But now it's light time. So, and then the government would make you work 24-hour shifts.
Yeah.
In their light factory, because they're the ones who would make it always daytime to get their 24-hour work. I don't know.
Got to generate that artificial vitamin D for the skin.
I feel like this whole episode's been a fever dream.
It may have been.
I may have just finally passed out from being super sickly that I'm in a state of fever dream.
You're gonna wake up and you're gonna want to play some games.
Just wake up, start playing games.
I want to play some games.
I'll be back home with my parents. I've never met any of you. It was all a dream. I don't know. I feel like this show's ran its course as a whole. Last episode. Here it is.
But yeah, I mean, there is a lot. Like we could probably go on if we dug into it a little bit. But it's interesting how much they plumb the depths of stuff like Sumerian stuff and Anunnaki things when we really don't know a whole ton about it. Like we're still digging up evidence and information and all that other kind of stuff. So there's a lot of imagination that goes into it. Like in this game, they talk about Pazuzu.
Oh, yeah.
Babylonian
Yeah.
deity that came after the Akkadians, which is the Assyrians and things.
Also famous in The Exorcist.
Yep. And I thought that was interesting. Yeah, so anybody who kind of wants to weigh in on that and like put your thoughts into it, the game again is called House of Ashes, part of the Dark Pictures anthology. It is game number 3. You do not have to play the other games to play or enjoy this one, but they do reference the other ones sometimes in this game. Like in a couple cutscenes, they do some like, oh, they're lightly connected in the same universe. Oh, but you don't have to actually go and play any of those to enjoy this one. Yeah, so if you have any thoughts that you want to bring up about that or about other things that you've seen that kind of connects ancient Mesopotamia to modern entertainment and things like that, by all means, let us know. Drop us some comments in the group or even on this video on YouTube. That's fine too.
You can always drop all the comments on the YouTube videos and we will answer promptly. The only thing that's the same in all the games is the narrator at the beginning. He's like a librarian that catalogs all these stories. He plays some role in all this, and I don't know what it is because I haven't played the other ones. I haven't played Little Hope or Man of Medan.
Yeah, this game does reference Little Hope once because in a cutscene they pass through the town.
Yeah,
and then it references something else, one of the other ones, but I don't remember where it was at because I was focused more on this game. But
yeah, because the FBI agent, her and her husband are before she cheats, they stop in Little Hope to get pizza.
Yep,
they stop at like a little restaurant, and I think Little Hope's like a witchcraft one.
Yeah, something with supernatural stuff. They're stuck in a town and there's fog that keeps them in. Which anytime I think of that now that I've played that
Silent Hill.
No, even different. Now that I've played High on Life, I imagine I keep thinking about that Demon Wind movie that was so terrible in the theater, and that's how they got like the people in that movie were stuck where they were because there was this fog that kept them around. Even though it's called Demon Wind, it was clearly a fog.
Thought it'd be some Japanese movie,
but it was pretty funny.
There's like 4 of those in that movie, or in that game. There's like 3 other movies in that game.
Yeah, there's 3 other ones that are equally bad too. They're all pretty terrible. Paul Walker's first movie, for anybody who remembers Paul Walker from Fast and Furious.
Nice.
Yeah, his first movie where he turns into a giant dinosaur.
Yeah, I thought it was the same one. Yeah. There's that one. There's like 2 more. How was that game? Did you beat it?
Yeah, it had an ending like I figured, and there's like a secret ending that I also knew. You have to play the main one and then follow up on the afterwards, and it pretty much went the way that I thought it was going to be. Pretty predictable, but the mechanics were enjoyable. It was enjoyable if you cut out a lot of the overly annoying jokes, because there are a lot of jokes and they're constant. It's a barrage of joke, and some of them are funny, but most of them are the exact same joke told in different ways. just like Rick and Morty, because it's the same guy who made this game. And it's not funny after 20 minutes. You know, it's a little funny at first, but then after 20 minutes of the same joke, it's not funny.
I saw the part where you run into those weird ant creatures at the beginning.
Yeah.
And you're like, we should fight them. And then if you run away, they're going to be like, we should totally go back there and fight them.
Yeah. The gun.
It looked interesting enough. I don't know. I can't get past Rick and Morty.
It's on Game Pass, so if you ever get a chance, you can play it.
Yeah, I'll play it right after I play Scorn, which was also horrible.
They should give you at least some nudge, like what to do next, because I don't know.
None.
Like, I don't have any idea how to solve the puzzles. I'm at the first one, and I'm just kind of like, I'm just tossing pods down, smash on the floor, and nothing else is happening. Oh, there's another pod. Oh, smash. Okay. Oh, there's another pod. Oh, smash. Okay.
I don't know what to do. I was like, cool, I'll play it when it comes out and download it. And then I did, and I was like, what?
A little bit of direction would help, because I think it'd be a pretty interesting, like, kind of weird, creepy, like, walking simulator puzzly game.
Right.
If they would just be like, okay, next you should try this thing here. Just try, see this button over here? Try this button. Try this button.
Hey, no, they tried to make it like Myst. They're like, what game was just like this that nobody liked?
Even Myst sometimes gave you some hints. Like, you could at least...
Yeah, but those puzzles were brutal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was the pinnacle of when PC games were supposed to be like, this is for the smartest of smart people to figure out. And I just want to play Doom and just shoot stuff.
I have Riven, actually, somewhere here floating. I think it's in that box. Yeah, I had Riven. I had to buy the instruction, but I had to buy the cheat manual, because I'm like, we're not doing this today. We're not doing this. So, and then it just got boring after a while, because it was all puzzles, and you're just like this alone person on a weird island, and there's like 6 of these games.
Yeah. Myst was supposedly the best of them.
There's like 6 of those. There's like 6 Mysts. The new one came out. I didn't play it. I think I downloaded it and then walked around the island and pushed a button or two. Then I was like, oh, good. It's just like the first one. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off now and uninstall it.
The new one that's on Game Pass? That's basically the first one just remade.
No.
It's just a remastered first one.
No. I'd rather play Microsoft Flight Simulator.
But since this show ended up talking about more about games than anything else, and
probably should change that name there.
Yeah, we'll probably get to it. But
you're not going to get to it.
You're still recovering, and my dog is over there fussing like a...
It wants to go outside, doesn't it?
Fussy thing. I took care of that all before the show, but
dogs. Yeah.
So I guess we're going to be done, as long as nobody, since our comment area is empty.
Words.
I guess nobody's going to complain.
Words are hard.
My brain's going faster than my mouth. I'm just kind of like...
It's like
scrambled eggs are good.
It's like those Japanese Godzilla movies where they're like, yes, we must do that. Yokahime-san. So, but we'll be back next week. We'll be in much better spirits, both of us. It will be I will be here next week, but the week after that, I will not. So your boy over there on my left, he will be doing the emceeing. Who knows what he has in store? I have no idea what he's going to talk about. Maybe his love.
I don't know yet either, but I'll figure it out.
Maybe his love for H.R. Geiger. I mean, our saddest love.
I'd say maybe interest. I wouldn't say love, because he got into some things. Not into some of those things.
I mean,
not into some of those things.
Sadislav Brzezinski.
Anyway, that's enough.
Yeah. Anyways, y'all, we will see you guys next week with episode 218. If you like this episode, please give it a like, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to my channel, his channel, Twitch channel, 8 News. Also, be on the lookout. The videos of the expeditions will be getting put together here very shortly now that I'm feeling better. And I told y'all that was going to happen. It's a new year, so we got to make that happen. And that's that. We're still planning to hang out at some point. The alcohol situation won't be a problem because he's already been aging whatever he's been aging for however long he's been aging it.
It's supposed to be next week, I think, isn't it?
Is it next week?
Thursday the 13th.
Yeah, let's do it.
As long as you're not like, if you're still feeling kind of like,
No, the antibiotics, like, I was non-contagious as of yesterday. They give you a 24 to 48 hour window where you're still contagious after you take the antibiotics.
Thursday the 12th, that is. Thursday the 12th. Yep.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, let's do that. That'll be fun. I look forward to that. Yeah, that'll be like 5 days from today, actually.
Yep.
6 days, sorry, but tomorrow, Saturday, 5. So, yeah. Anyways, you guys, you don't have to go home, but you can't hang out here because we're taking off. So, as always, why be boring when you can be uncanny? We will see you folks next week.